Hi everyone, I am Karan and welcome to Karan's Gyan. Today I'll be talking about the numbers behind top Indian pharmaceutical companies. I'll be talking about their APIs, I'll be talking about their DMF, and I'll be talking about how many upcoming drugs are being pipelined by these companies. So before I start with this, I would just give you a fun fact. The fun fact is world's 20% pharmaceutical products they come from India. So every 2 in 10 tablets eaten by anyone in the world is actually made and exported from India. So let us have a look at the big five pharmaceutical companies and see how they dominate the market and look at the numbers behind it. I'll give you a complete analysis of each of these five big five companies that I have come up with. Now, you see this figure, you see total API, you see USDMF, you see pipeline activity. I would explain these better. Of course, you would have heard API. API has been a very prominent word ever since coronavirus has hit. It says that India are dependent on China's APIs, and no one really understand what API is. So let us start with what is API. So API is active pharmaceutical ingredient, and it is basically the active ingredient in a medicine. For example, if you have a painkiller, so the ingredient of the painkiller that relieves pain is the active ingredient. It is the API. Just so that you know, there are a lot of other things in a painkiller. I'll give you an example of a paracetamol formulation. Of course, all of us would have taken paracetamol once in our life, and paracetamol is the go-to drug to whoever has fever. And so this is basically the generic formulation of paracetamol. So in a paracetamol tablet, paracetamol is the API, and starch, povidone, potassium sorbate, sodium bicarbonate, magnesium stearate, all these ingredients are the other raw materials. However, paracetamol is the main and active ingredient. Hence, paracetamol is the API. The name and the amount of active ingredient is generally found on the package. So, for example, if you're having a paracetamol called Dolo 650, so Dolo is just a name given to the paracetamol, and 650 is there are 650 milligrams of paracetamol in that tablet. So basically, if I say Sun Pharma produces 528 APIs, it basically produces 528 active ingredients that are used in various medicines. Now, what is US DMF? You see US DMF here. I would tell you how what is US DMF and how is it related to API and why one should see US DMF figures. So, US DMF is basically called Drug Master File. Now, as you know, API is responsible for treating you basically. So whatever affliction you have, whatever condition you have, whatever symptom you have, the active ingredient component of the medicine is responsible for subsiding that symptom or maybe relieving you of that symptom. So basically, API manufacturers have to submit a detailed file to US FDA of drug master, like, and if this file is known as drug master file or DMF. Now, basically, this DMF gives the chemistry behind manufacturing, uh, and the controls of the drug component, basically how this API would affect you, and the other statistics behind it. What are the raw materials required, how it is produced, what is the chemistry behind it, and it is a confidential file. However, one must note that it is not compulsory to give a DMF file. So a company can basically give the drug, register the drug to the FDA without giving a DMF file on the API. Of course, the drug would be tested to see if the quality control is maintained, but they don't have to necessarily give API. So if a company is giving API, it can be a good signal of transparency. So FDA doesn't require all manufacturers to submit a DMF. They don't require any chemistry or any drug master file for the API they are using in the medicine they're getting into the US. However, if someone's filing a application for a new drug or for investigation of a new drug or maybe a abbreviated new drug or a generic drug that they want to release in the US, this application can support all these three applications. API manufacturers with large number of DMFs are often considered more reliable in terms of quality, regulatory standing, and ability to meet current good manufacturing process. So you need to understand this. In this industry, the reputation is the key. If tomorrow we get to know that the company makes substandard medicines, no one would buy that medicine in fear of their life and in the fear of side effects. So having a large number of DMFs is considered very reliable. It's considered very good for the company. And another thing, high ratio of API to the DMF indicates high degree of transparency. I'll get to it. Now we look at this figure. We see Sun Pharma leads the chart with the most number of APIs and the most number of DMF. And obviously, Sun Pharma is one of the biggest companies in the US when it comes to pharmaceuticals. Dr. Reddy's lab is second, even in the DMF filings, it is second. Cipla is third, or Aurobindo Pharma is fourth, and Lupin is five. So I'll basically consider these five pharmaceutical companies to be the big five, and these five pharmaceutical companies are basically in the top five of US DMF. Moreover, what is this pipeline activity? Pipeline activity is the drugs that are currently being tested. So there's basically a pipeline on how the drug is being manufactured, how it is being tested on, and XYZ. It's basically a pipeline that they have to follow a set of rules or a particular manual to see how far is their drug to come into the market. So this is a basic pipeline activity, and we can see Cipla, Sun Pharma, Glenmark basically are leading this. Basically, it means Cipla is making 7 drugs that are under consideration, Sun Pharma 7 and Glenmark 6. Now, I said these are the big 5. Now, what is this percent? So this percentage is basically the ratio of DMF to API. It shows how transparent is the company in showing it to the FDA, to the Food and Drug Administration. We can see if we have high level of transparency, it means the company is willing to do anything and everything to show the FDA that it is a responsible company and it follows good practices. And we can see Sun Pharma has only 80% of its APIs in the drug master file. Dr. Reddy's has 86%. Cipla has the least out of them. It has 70% of its APIs registered in the drug master file, 83% for Aurobindo Pharma, and about 93% for Lupin. And this figure basically for Lupin, 207 divided by 221, is basically the highest in this industry. So Lupin is the most transparent company when it comes to Indian pharmaceuticals. Now, let us have a look at the top 5 companies. And just so that you know, I have not mentioned the price. There is a reason behind me not mentioning a price, because everyone just looks at the price and they see, well, a share is of 500 rupees. Well, it's cheap. I'll buy a 500 rupee share. They don't look at the technicals behind it, and I've hidden the price for that reason. The share price doesn't matter. We will look at the numbers behind the company. So we've got price to earning, price to book, market capitalization, debt to equity, operating profit margin, and mutual fund holding. This can give us a good pick of winners. Now we've got 5 shares: Sun Pharma, Dr. Reddy Lab, Cipla, Aurobindo Pharma, and Lupin. We see that Lupin has a negative PE. So P is basically price to earnings. We see a ratio of the price of each share to the earnings each share has. And we see Lupin is negative. That means it is a loss making company. That's why its P is negative. Price to book is the price of each share to the book value of each share. We see that Dr. Reddy's lab leads the chart with PB, and P is also very close to Cipla, which is also towards leading the chart. And this is the reason behind this is now companies that are, that people anticipate these companies to grow, these things are actually sold at a premium. So Dr. Reddy is basically considered a premium product. Now you go to a shop and you say, well, I want a quality product. So quality product would have its price. You would have to pay a premium to buy a quality product. You can buy a product that won't last that much. You can buy a Chinese product, as I would say. Chinese product may last 6 months, and that's why its price is cheaper than the quality product. That's why quality products are sold at a premium. That's why their premium and price to book value is high. We see the market capitalization. This is pretty much sorted according to market capitalization. We'll see debt to equity. Dr. Reddy's is considered quality product because it has a very low debt to equity. Its valuation is about 65,000 crores but has a debt of 1500 crores, least among all these pharmaceutical companies. And it has a very good operating profit margin of about 21%. Aurobindo Pharma only matches the operating profit. We'll see mutual fund holdings. Mutual fund holdings aren't that great compared to other shares. We'll see Sun Pharma. Sun Pharma is the market leader. Its price to earnings is pretty good compared to other shares. Price to book value is decent. Debt to equity is alright, less than 10%, not bad. Operating profit is actually less compared to Dr. Reddy and Aurobindo Pharma. Mutual fund holding is good. Cipla, we see operating profit is less and debt to equity is also high. So this can be not that good share compared to other two shares. If I look at number wise, I'm not talking about the company. The company, obviously Cipla is a very reputed company, but I'm looking at investment size, and I see Dr. Reddy's Lab and Aurobindo Pharma, they show better figures for investment if I want to look at a long term. However, Cipla has a very good mutual fund holding. That means a lot of mutual funds are betting on Cipla. Lupin, which has the highest transparency, is somewhat getting into a bit of trouble. It has the poorest operating profit margin. It has the highest debt to equity ratio. It is a loss making company. So you gotta wait and watch for Lupin. We gotta wait and watch to see how Lupin will be doing in the coming quarters and basically invest on it. But Lupin is a good company, I must say. But it's facing some issues lately, and if those issues are resolved, we can expect Lupin to come back on charts and perform better again. So guys, this is pretty much my take. If I see in the big five companies, I would give investment suggestion in Dr. Reddy's Lab, Aurobindo Pharma, and some exposure to Sun Pharma because it is the market leader. Of course, you can take exposure into Cipla also. All five shares are good. Only Lupin is a little bit of loss making, and this can be taken care of in the future. But tread with caution when it comes to Lupin. Profit loss is the king in this market. So, guys, this is pretty much my take on top Indian pharma, and I hope you like the video. I did a lot of research for the APIs and the DMFs and the pipeline activity. I have these figures with me. I have this PDF file. So if you request for this PDF file, I can give you a link to the PDF file. So just comment and subscribe to my channel, and this PDF file is yours. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.